So, should you rent or buy a home? For decades, that question felt like it had a really simple answer. But here we are in 2026, and let me tell you, that entire calculation has been completely turned on its head. The old rules, they're out the window. We're in a new, much more complicated reality now.
We've all heard it a million times, right? Renting is just throwing money away. Well, I'm here to tell you that in 2026, that piece of advice is, well, it's pretty much useless. A perfect storm of economic shifts has completely rewritten the rulebook for housing. So, okay, let's get into what's really going on.
All right, first up, let's talk about what it actually costs to own a home today. I'm not just talking about the mortgage. There are these new, pretty massive expenses that are totally changing the game when it comes to affordability.
What you're looking at right here, that's the new national average for homeowners insurance. We're talking about an extra $176 a month, and honestly, it's one of the biggest new financial shocks hitting buyers right now.
But what's really going on here? I mean, why the huge jump? Well, it's not random. Insurance companies are staring down the barrel of climate change. We're seeing more wildfires, more hurricanes, more disasters. And the cost to rebuild a home after one of those events has just gone through the roof. So naturally, they pass those costs right along to you, the homeowner.
And oh, it doesn't stop there. If you're looking at a property with a homeowners association, get ready. This is the range of annual increases a lot of HOAs are hitting their members with now. Yeah, we are way past a small 3 or 5% bump. This is a whole different league of price hikes.
So why are HOA fees just exploding? Well, it's all connected. The cost of labor for landscaping and repairs is way up. The price of basic materials, everything from pool chemicals to paint, is higher. And, sound familiar? The insurance policies for the entire community are getting slammed with those same massive premium hikes we just talked about. We're talking 20, 30%, sometimes more. And the really crucial part here, these are costs you have absolutely no control over, but they are hitting your wallet hard.
Okay, next, let's talk about the other huge piece of this puzzle, the cost of just borrowing the money in the first place. After a few wild years, mortgage rates have kind of settled down, but they've settled into a place I'm calling the limbo zone, and it is not cheap.
So as of early January 2026, this is where we're at. The average rate for a 30-year fixed mortgage is hanging out at 6.16%. And yeah, it's down from the crazy peaks we saw, but it is still stubbornly high. And that number has a huge impact on your monthly payment and how much interest you'll end up paying over the life of the loan.
And if you're holding your breath for some big relief this year, well, you might want to exhale. Just look at these forecasts. You've got Fannie Mae, the Mortgage Bankers Association. They both see rates just hovering right around this 6% mark all year long. There is no big drop coming over the horizon.
And hey, don't just take my word for it. Listen to Danielle Hale, the chief economist over at Realtor.com. She basically confirms it. Stability is the name of the game, but it is stability at a really high cost. It seems like this 6% plus world, well, it's our new normal, at least for now.
Okay, so just when you're thinking the math is really starting to favor renting, boom, Washington throws this massive curveball into the mix. A brand new tax law just passed, and people are calling it an absolute game changer that completely reshuffles the deck, this time in favor of homeowners.
So this thing was signed into law last summer, and you need to understand this is not just a minor little tweak. It actually changes the fundamental financial incentives of owning a home, especially if you live in certain states.
Okay, let's break this down into the two huge wins for homeowners. First, that cap on how much state and local tax you can deduct, the SALT cap, it's been quadrupled. It went from $10 grand all the way up to $40,000. And second, that deduction for mortgage insurance premiums, it expired, but now it's back and it's permanent. These are real, direct benefits that could save homeowners thousands of dollars a year.
And the reaction from the market says it all. You've got real estate investors literally calling this a windfall. And for anybody living in a high-tax state, think New York, New Jersey, California, these changes are so big they could single-handedly flip the rent versus buy decision.
So, with these huge new tax breaks, buying a house seems like a total slam dunk again, right? Well, not so fast, because we need to talk about the grand prize of owning a home, appreciation. That idea that your home is this guaranteed, surefire investment that's always going to go up in value? Yeah, that's over.
There's this phrase that JP Morgan is using to describe the market right now, multidimensional polarization. Okay, that sounds super complicated, but in plain English, it just means that where you buy matters more than it ever has before. The days when a rising tide in real estate lifted all boats, those are gone.
And I mean, you can see this great divide playing out all over the country. It's wild. On one hand, you have places like Atlantic City and Knoxville that are projected to see really healthy price gains. But on the other hand, you've got some of those former pandemic boomtowns like Austin or cities like New Orleans that are actually expected to lose value this year.
So the takeaway from all this data is pretty clear. A correction is underway. That speculative frenzy we saw over the last few years is finally cooling down. And now, it's the stable, more affordable markets that are actually proving to be the safer bet for building equity.
So, what does all this mean for you? Where does this leave us? Well, it means that the simple one-size-fits-all answer to the rent or buy question is officially dead. Welcome to what I'm calling the era of the Great Recalculation.
It's time for a brand new checklist. You really have to ask yourself some tough questions. Can you truly handle these soaring insurance and HOA costs where you live? Do those new tax breaks actually move the needle for your specific financial situation? Are you looking to buy in a market that's set to grow or one that's set to shrink? And maybe the biggest question of all, how long are you actually planning to stay put to ride out all this volatility?
The truth is, a single right answer just doesn't exist anymore. It's become deeply, deeply personal. It's this complex equation where you're balancing soaring costs on one side, new tax windfalls on the other, and this totally fractured housing market in the middle. The decision is now completely and totally unique to you.
Which really leaves us all with the ultimate question for 2026, doesn't it? When you buy a house today, are you actually buying an asset, something that's going to grow your wealth? Or are you just signing up for a very, very expensive place to live? The answer has never been less clear.